Hello guys, today we're gonna make a picture of the Red Guardian from Thunderbolts. It's a pretty cool show I just watched. I recommend it, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, let's turn on some music. Oh shit, I broke the blade. I broke the blade straight away. Oh well, it was a bad blade anyway. It was from yesterday, so... But yeah, let me tell you again then. We're gonna make a picture of this. The Red Guardian. Second hair. Yeah. That's the first time I think I've ever broken a blade straight away. Let me just fix it. There we go. Sorry guys.
Wires twist and tangle in a dance of sparks of light. My heart begins to strangle in the neon of the night. We are the last resistance against the digital tide. In the void of persistence, our humanity will survive. The signal's getting stronger, every pulse and deadly beats, as the nights grow ever longer in this city of concrete. Wires twist and tangle in a dance of sparks of light. My heart begins to strangle in the neon of the night. We are the last resistance against the digital tide. In the void of persistence, our humanity will survive. Break the chains, reclaim the night in the heart of this machine. Feel the power, feel the fight in this world of cold and need. We are the last resistance against the digital tide. In the void of persistence, our humanity will survive. Break the chains, reclaim the night in the heart of this machine. Feel the power, feel the fight in this world of cold and mean. We are the last resistance against the digital tide. In the void of persistence, our humanity will survive.
No problem, Lucas. Let me do some talking instead of all this music. Has anyone in the chat, have you anyone seen Thunderbolts yet? I saw it on Sunday. I thought it was really cool. So this is the Red Guardian. It's a really funny character. So yeah, we're getting very, very close now to picture number 100. I actually forgot to count one picture, so this is number 91 or 92. I believe this is 92. 92 picture made live on YouTube. That's insane. If anyone has any questions for me, just let me know and I'll try to answer. That's why I turn the music off as well, because it's kind of hard to talk over the music, I think. But yeah. Can't really see the face yet, but it's starting to take form. Trying to do the eyes first, so you got kind of see what we're working with. Yeah, we gotta do aluminium soon, I guess. But this is not aluminium yet. But yeah, we need to do one soon. It's been a long time. Hey, Bomber! can see the eyes now. The eyes should be done. Yeah, and you kind of see how the face is coming along now. Just a couple of more details, and you sort of have a feel for the picture, you know. Hey, thanks for subscribing, Mark. That's really cool. Kind of see the helmet, starting on the helmet now. Hello, Splashby. How's it looking? Alien. Yeah, we need to do Alien. I like that. We should do Alien. I actually have a cool picture for Alien and Predator. So yeah, they're coming up. Splashby, are you going to see this movie, The Thunderbolts? I personally think it's one of the coolest movies that I've seen in some time. Like, we've been a little bit disappointed in the Marvel's movies lately, but this movie was actually fairly good. I think it's a step in the right direction, if nothing else. Oh, that's a new one. It points for making me laugh. Okay. So just keep working on that helmet, I guess. Totally setting myself up for dick jokes. Okay. I'm not sure if we should do all of them, you know, like Ghost and a lot of the other people in this series. But I'm thinking about maybe doing Yelena, the main character. But yeah, this is the Red Guardian. Okay. I think I need to do more of the beard to get, you know, the full future. Get more of the face, I guess. I'm from Norway, by the way, so that's why my English isn't the best. But I'm trying. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about what I'm actually doing. This is a thing called scroll sawing. So it's actually one of the safest woodworking styles that you could do, because the blade is so thin, can't really do much damage. Of course you can, but it's more that one of the more safer things to work with. You can cut pretty much anything with it. You can do it aluminium. I know you can do it. I think even you can cut glass or something like that. I've never tried that. I've been thinking about maybe trying to at some point try to do a plexiglass, but I haven't really figured out how the design would look and stuff. I need to have an idea before doing it. But yeah, scroll sawing. Check it out. I believe actually the guy who invented the scroll saw was French, but the blades, that's German. So I guess it's a combined thing. And the first to mass-produced a scroll saw was English. So it's, I guess it's multiple countries. History lessons of the scroll saw. starting to look like something. Kind of get more of the whole face now. Yeah. I think there are some details that doesn't really show up yet. There's a couple of small things that doesn't show up on stream because I have to, you know, get rid of dust and stuff. But I'll do that at the end. So that's why if it doesn't look perfect. But yeah, let's continue. I'm doing details. That's really the whole point at this point. Doing the small details before we do the big ones. I was originally going to do a lot of tutorials when I started to stream, but I feel like you should do tutorials on a not this high-end scroll saw, you know, something that's a lot more that everyone can afford. But the saw that I bought, which was fairly cheap, it just couldn't do the basics, so I felt like, okay, I'm not gonna make tutorials on something that I don't believe in, you know. So so that's why I do still want to buy a cheap saw and do tutorials, but I'm not going to do it unless I find a saw that I can sort of, you know, okay, this is something that I would actually like, you know. But yeah, you can make anything on a scroll saw, pretty much. I do... Now I only do pictures, because that's what I love to do. But if you really want to sell, do puzzles. That's the best to sell. But I don't care about that. I only do it because I think it's fun. And then I try to sell a couple of things just because... just because it's getting so much... It takes up a lot of room, really. That's why I sell, more or less. Okay, I need to make a hole there. I can wait a little bit. Thank you for subscribing, Raimon HW. Forget to show you guys the progress. Welcome back, Mega Farmer. Is it just me or is it a little dark here? I wish it was a little bit more light. Maybe that's better. Okay, so here we go. Like all of this that doesn't come across as well on stream, it will eventually, but I have to sort of, yeah, do all the stuff I do later. If you know, you know. Okay, yeah, continue, I guess. Not that one. So my saw is an Axminster, and it used to be called Excalibur. So it's basically the same saw. It's just rebranded, I've heard. So it's a good saw. But there's a lot of people have a lot of thoughts about what's the best saw and everything, but I don't know. It's one of the high-end saws. Saws? I don't know how to say that. Looks cool, thanks, Bomber. Now I need to make a couple of holes. Sorry if you're dizzy. I just forgot to do this. I think it's only one. Maybe it's more. I'm just gonna check. Now I think we're good. Sorry about that. Nice. And that side is done. Gonna start on the other side, the other hand. You guys really need to change the blade. It's getting loud, the saw. Just keep doing these details, working all the small details, and then cutting out the big ones. Sorry, wasn't there for a moment. I'm not entirely sure what I answered, if I answered you or whatever. You guys want me to put on some music, or do you like when I'm just doing it like this and talking and blah blah blah? By the way, if you want to know my favorite blades, Proxxon. Really like this company. Like, I know they make scroll saws as well, but I really like their blades. If there's any sponsors that I would ever sort of try to get, it'd probably be by Proxxon, because I just love their blades. It's the best blades, I think. It's a German company, actually. Why don't you stream on YouTube and on Twitch at the same time? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to. I just like the idea of keeping everyone on YouTube and not split my audience, if that makes sense. But I have streamed on Twitch before when I made gaming videos along like 10 years ago, but I don't know, does it make sense for woodworking? I'm not sure. One more and then we'll switch the blade. You could also do a gaming stream once a week or so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really do gaming anymore. Like, I don't know. Maybe. I'll think about it. Very important when you change blades, you put it the right way, or you will get problems. Said hi. Hello, Mega Farmer. Mega Farmer, you're like one of the most dedicated viewers that I have. So cool to see that you're in almost every stream. You and Nanny. That's fun. Ooh, I forgot one thing. No, that's one. I can't write sentences in the chat. Or questions. Oh yeah, because you're gaming? Multitasking. Looks amazing. Thank you. I don't know if I've said it, but everything that I make, all the pictures that we have made on stream and everything is on my Instagram page. If you guys are interested in checking out some of the other things that I made, like there's more detailed pictures there than this one that we made. The one that we made yesterday, extremely cool, of Terminator. That one turned out great. That was a three-hour scroll saw session. Just working the stomach part, armor, I guess. So yeah, when we remove these big pieces, that's when you sort of get the more of how it would actually look. But I have to do that at the end. It's sort of keeping everything together now. So yeah. That's scroll sewing 101. If anyone has any good ideas for other pictures I should be making, let me know. I try to listen to you guys when you have some ideas. It's not always that I can make them, but superheroes, movie characters, stuff like that. Magic. Thank you. Where are people from? I would love to know where you guys are from. Like, I'm from Norway. Please write it in the chat. I would love to know from where in the world you're watching. Yep, just cutting out the last pieces, not last pieces, the last small pieces. There's actually quite a few left. So on Saturday we're gonna try to sell some of these pictures in EHLE in Norway. So if you're from Norway, come to EHLE. And yeah, so we're probably gonna have one or two more streams before that, just to sort of make the last pictures. So since we have made so many pictures on YouTube, almost 100 pictures, I'm gonna bring everything that we have made, and I'm gonna put up 3 tables. So it will be interesting to see if we sell anything. I've never tried to sell superheroes before, so it's gonna be interesting. Maybe I don't sell anything, and then there'll be a lot of giveaways. Texas fresh. No thank you. Seems like a dumb idea. Not so much left. It's turning out cool. Me like. Okay. There's a couple of details left, but it's not really a hard picture, but never underestimate, because that's when you mess up. The Red Guardian. Just getting done with this boring part so we can do the last big ones. A speed run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. Okay. Now I gotta be smart. I think that's the biggest one. So maybe do this one and then those two. Said hi. Hello, oh, sorry, it's a little bit hard for me to see your name. Akhil Sharma. Cool. From India? That's so cool. India seems like such a cool place. A lot different than Norway, that's for sure. Can you explain what you're working on, my brother? Yeah, I am working on a picture of the Red Guardian, which is a character from Thunderbolts. So I'm using a scroll saw, so it's wood, and I'm basically just cutting out all the pieces. Yeah, I guess that. It's not that complicated, really. I think it looks a lot more complicated than it actually is, but it does require some type of skill when you do very detailed pictures. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. 2 pieces left and we're done. Okay, now you can probably see a lot more how the pictures are starting to look. Can you do a character from Dragon Ball? We actually have done a character from Dragon Ball, but yeah, why not do more? I also think you should wear gloves. I do wear gloves when I work with aluminium, but it's never been a problem. If I've ever gotten a small cut, it's never been anything serious. It's actually the safest saw, one of the safest saws in the world to work with, scroll sawing. But of course, you should never underestimate. Of course, you can do damage on any saw, so it's not a dumb idea. But for me personally, I don't feel like I need it. Also, a lot of scroll saws, when you buy them, they come with sort of this guard thing that you have around it, which I would, of course, not take off unless you really know what I'm doing. I feel like I know what I'm doing, and I've been doing it for a long time, so that's why. But yeah, now you know. Nice, thanks for letting us know. No problem, dude. Thanks for asking questions and having interest in scroll sawing and whatever I'm doing. That's a lot of fun for me. Okay. Now I'm just gonna work through some of the details in the beard. And then we're done. I think we're good. Just gonna check if there's anything left. So that's how it turned out. Pretty cool. Now for the boring part. I'm gonna remove all this tape and then we're going to sand it down, oil it. That process is actually fairly fast, but the boring part is to remove all this tape. So I know it's boring for you guys to watch, so this would be a good idea. If you have any questions for me, I'll try to answer them. So yeah, we're going to stream on. I think the next stream will be on Wednesday. I think, probably. And I'm wondering if we're gonna do do a picture of Donatello. We're making all of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the one that we're missing is Donatello. And I did find a cool picture of him, so I'm thinking about doing that, and then we're done all 4 Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Looks amazing. Thank you, Mega Farmer. I think it turned out cool. I just gotta be careful. It's so tempting to just rip off everything, but I've done that once before, or a couple of times actually, and some of the parts have literally ripped off because this is MDF. So it's cheap wood basically, and but there's a reason for that, and that's because when I sell them, I can price them a lot cheaper than if it were expensive wood. So I prefer doing it that way. But of course you can do this with any types of wood you want to. You can do it with aluminium, probably a lot of different materials. Which I probably should figure more try different stuff more. But I sort of feel like I have my thing that works for me. And as long as, you know, people like what I do, then I might just keep doing what I'm doing instead of changing things too much around. But you should never say never. We do still have to do layered pictures. That is something I'm thinking about. I do actually have one picture ready for that, but I think I'm gonna do it offline or not stream it, because I just want to know what I'm doing before I actually stream it. Here we go. Let's turn the camera around and sand it. I'll turn on music and yeah, I'll work fast. Sorry guys if you got dizzy.
artificial mind disrupting all their plans. Watching panic sweating in their suits and brands. They push the same old sounds, same old names. AI coming through, burning all their claims. Computers in the book creating sonic flames. No more puppeteers breaking free from chains. Gatekeepers got it, power slips away. Digital revolution, taking down decay. Future in the hands of code all the way. Time for real talent, watch them fade to gray. AXX, watch them scramble and twitch. Tech on the rise, flipping every switch. Their empire crumbles every stone and brick. Artificial dream, breaking every trick. Autos and wizards, craving every dime. AI cuts deep, slaying them in time. New era dawns, algorithms climb. Free the people's voice, let the future rhyme. Gatekeepers got it, power slips away. Digital revolution, taking down the...
Okay, guys. Done with another stream. Oh, Splash. Oh, sorry I didn't see your comment. But you're probably not here. But it doesn't matter. I talk to you anyway all the time, so. So yeah. Turned out pretty cool. I'm sorry, I keep saying that after every stream, I know. But I'm always very happy with with the stuff I make. I'm sorry, probably shouldn't be that, but yeah, kind of cool. The Red Guardian from Thunderbolts. Go and see the movie if you haven't. It's a cool movie. It's it'll restore your faith in Marvel, I think. But of course, people like different stuff. So when is the next stream? The next stream is probably on Wednesday. And then we're probably going to do Donatello from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I can show you the picture. We do also have the alternative to do one more picture of Thunderbolts, because I do have a picture of Yelena, the main character. But I think that picture is a little bit boring, to be honest. It just, I don't know. I'll give you guys. I'll show you, and you guys let me know. So what I'm thinking is this one. This is a picture of Donatello. This is kind of the picture that I'm thinking would be kind of cool to do. Yeah. And detailed, a lot of details in that picture. But and we have this one, which is Yelena from Thunderbolts, the main character. But I do think this is well, it's okay. It's just compared to like this one, where things actually happen and you can sort of see who the character is straight away. If you know, you know. Then I think it's kind of a little of a boring picture. So I'm not entirely sure if we're gonna do this. By the way, if you ever get to this point where you want to make a picture, like all you do is just put another picture on top of this. So you don't, unless you made the holes. Made no holes in it. So just some NID if you do this. But yeah, that's that, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, Nemanyashai. I'm sorry, I probably pronounced your name wrong, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thanks to everyone who has been watching. I'll be back Wednesday, 7 p.m. as always, and I'll see you then. Bye bye, guys. Have fun. The Red Guardian.